We have some breaking news for you now. The New York Times is reporting that Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross threatened to fire top employees at NOAA after members of the agency contradicted President Trump's claim that Hurricane Dorian might hit Alabama. This was a claim he made 2 Sundays ago that was not in alignment with any of the forecasting at the time. Let's just talk about this. You're from Florida, so you...
From West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach, so you know how important these weather announcements are and the warnings are.
Yeah, how important they are. I also covered the hurricanes of the mid-2000s when we literally ran out of names for hurricanes, when Mar-a-Lago was among those places in South Florida that had to deal with Charlie, Francis, Ivan, Jean, Dennis, Katrina, Rita, Wilma, and then Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta when we ran out of names. A property like Mar-a-Lago is so much at risk for a hurricane. And anyone in the town of Palm Beach knows that there are all these historic properties: Mar-a-Lago, the Breakers, Whitehall, which was Henry Flagler's residence, the Royal Poinciana Playhouse, the Paramount Church, which used to be a theater, the shops on Worth Avenue. So everyone watches those forecasts very closely. A facility like Mar-a-Lago has to bring in beach chairs and beach umbrellas and golf carts and send guests home and help them figure out whether they need to book new hotels and send non-essential staff home and plug in the generators and figure out when the bridge is locked down so that people can evacuate their boats and yachts and get them into
all
a marina or
based
dry
on the
dock.
NOAA forecast.
So it is completely unfactual. It flies in the face of everything that every Floridian knows to say that the president thinks he can just draw around a hurricane map. It makes no sense to any Floridian ever.
Well, and I'm sure it didn't make a lot of sense to people in Alabama who saw that, because remember, this president has said, I'm the only one who will tell you the truth. Everything else is fake news. So he tweets out Alabama, then he draws it. So you're sitting in Alabama wondering, so is it coming? Is it not coming? And it also just shows the lengths to which this president is willing to abuse his power to save his thin ego to make himself correct.
I think that it's unfortunate. We should be talking about the very positive things this administration is doing, right? And helping. Listen, it's a controversial inviting the Taliban to come to the United States, but I think it's very positive that we're looking to draw down forces there and get men and women out of harm's way.
Do you think Secretary Ross made a mistake threatening to fire NOAA officials?
I'm not so sure exactly. I've met Secretary Ross on numerous occasions. His temperament doesn't seem like he's a kind of a phone thrower screaming at the top of his lungs. Give me those guys' heads on pikes at NOAA. So I'm not quite sure how that goes. But if in fact that was the case, yeah, I think it's wrong.
Jack Ma, one of China's richest men, a giant in tech, a man who has stood side by side with presidents, loves kung fu novels, always has. It's a genre called wuxia, and he says they teach valuable lessons.
Whatever you want to be a great people, a great company, you have to work very hard. You have to suffer a lot of, terrible things, wrongs and terrible things, before you be a hero. It is spiritual. And think out of the box. You have to think out of the box to win.
And win he has. It's been 19 years since he co-founded Alibaba, and the company that began in a Hangzhou, China apartment has grown into one of the largest internet companies in the world. In 2014, Alibaba's $25 billion IPO was then the largest in U.S. history. Ant Financial, the company's finance subsidiary, has invested billions of dollars in companies around the globe. Alibaba's e-commerce sites have fundamentally changed the way hundreds of millions of people shop in China, and its mobile payment platform revolutionized how people pay for what they buy. All the while, Ma has arguably become the most public face of China's tech boom, a charismatic, often inspiring figure for ordinary people, nicknamed Papa Ma on Chinese internet. Ma has faced his share of criticism, of course. Critics say his company merely copied eBay and thrived only because the Communist Party wanted it to. China's protectionist policies, so the argument goes, ensured that Alibaba had no real competition, making its rise not only easier, but in some ways inevitable. There is some truth there, but no matter your view, the facts remain. Alibaba is a juggernaut of a company, and its leader is routinely mentioned in the same sentence as other deities of tech. Think Jobs, or Musk, or Gates. And like Gates, Ma says life's about more than a job.
Can you imagine yourself sitting back, relaxing?
No. I've so many, the education, environment, and going around and meeting the entrepreneurs. There are a lot of things. Life is so fun, and never ever focus on one thing. We come to this world not to work. We come to this world to enjoy life. This is what I believe.
Ma has said he wants to focus more on philanthropy. The former English teacher has always focused on improving education in China. And as for his company, widely considered to have a deep management pool, he told CNN in 2016 that whenever he does step down, it will be in good hands.
Tomorrow is more difficult. The day after tomorrow is beautiful, but most people die tomorrow evening. So we have to realize that good thing can never be achieved easily. Life is not only about Alibaba. I have run my first 100 meters. I should giving this to the next generation.
Matt Rivers, CNN, Beijing.